How's everybody doing today that in these crazy the Christmas holidays? I hope you are all fine and well, and in today's video we're gonna talk about names and patches as more than just simplified identifiers. And if you're new to the channel, I got you. My name is Alice. I'm a 1% witch from the southern of Finland, and in this studio and on this channel we blend together the occult culture with the resilience of the motorcycle culture, aka MC culture. If it sounds good to you, subscribe and hit that notification bell, turn it black, because every Wednesday there's gonna be a new video right here on the channel, and at the same time Monday, Thursday and Friday there's gonna be static posts in the community section. So let's jump right into the topic of today, because there is a lot of information and we are gonna go also through these patches, because the next videos coming to the channels are dedicated to each single one. So today we're gonna see them a little bit more from a generic perspective. So names, usually we are brought to see them as just merely a combination of syllables extremely crafted well and carefully chosen, and patches, which in the case of those indicated are titles, so positions that have to be earned inside the club, tends to be more seen as just as a role figures, like a name tag with what is your role, for example, at your workplace. But the reality is they are so much more than this, and I wish somebody told to me when I started into the occult culture until many years ago why it is so. It is so because names, respect to patches, have their own level of intimacy. Literally, a name is a vessel that is extremely fragile, even if it can contain everything that you can think about a person. So aspirations, fear, dreams, truth, secrets, way to think, and you name it, going from there, guys. And so names are the cornerstones of identities, both into the sense of self-imposed, because we are in charge to figure it out who we are and why we are here, and at the same time also a bestowed on us, because usually names are what we are given as first possession when we come to this world from our parents, which seemingly they go through this ceremonial ritualistic time and space where they're trying to pick up the perfect name with the perfect hypothetical trait that the person coming and starting his own journey will include into his upbringing, or hopefully it will not. Sometimes he gets it right, sometimes he gets it wrong. In my case, he got only one right trait of all. And so we see with this comparison to choosing a name that to name someone or to name something is literally to bring him the breath of life, to bring it into existence and find a place into the world. And we talk about intimacy, absolutely, because at this point, to know someone's name and use it and call it, so having the access to also repeat it with the right tone at the right moment in the right situation, and psychologically, I don't remember where I read this, but I know it is a thing, seemingly the repetition of the name, be it the first name, be it the last name, it can lullaby down a person into a state of passive attention. It's like creating an irresistible siren hook to their mind, to their attention. It's really like commanding without putting any intimidation or any type of manipulation on them in order to get that intense. So it's to literally claim a fragment of the existence of a person, of a place. So for saying it like Hannibal Lecter in the Silence of the Lambs will say, to taste those souls that we enter in contact. And names at the same time, while they they define identity, they can actually summon literally the essence of a person without this having the need to be right on place. Because by just saying the names, we are summoning up the identity of that person, and also identity is connected to the perception that people have of us, so what we call reputation, which is one of the best things and dearest that we have in this world. And so whenever a name comes in, it evocates images, it evocates emotional state, psychological state. So speaking a name allow us to affirm an identity and also establish control over it. So holding a key in our hands to put into the door and over their mind, and then started to get from there. So what is the difference between names, titles / patches? So titles, respect to name, they have a more context specified type of energy, where a name instead, I think that it is more of a universal, collective, general type of energy. So they are like more the invocations, where the patches and titles are more akin to what in occult it's called sigils. So crafted symbols able to channel down energies. So patches can do the same, and they are basically channeling down authority, responsibilities, duties, but also attuning, for what it is my unpopular opinion, the person wearing them to a greater level of energy. So this is very interesting, seeing how names becomes invocations. So let's just say what you will put on a paper, and from there building up the energy towards manifesting or opening a portal, or opening the veil, like you want to call it, in a romantic way, and getting the person's, the spirit's attention, where the patches, it's more the tools used to ground it down the energy. It needs more big sense of it. And so let's go to see some of the patches of today's that you've seen before. So the first one that we can see as an example of what we were talking, it is the road captain. So the road captain is the person who controls the flow of the pack when the club is moving. So checking all the roads, making sure that everything is settled down, and that whenever the people are moving, close in the crossroad, they close all the other roads that otherwise will be in the middle of the ride. And why it can be seen from a normal person perspective as just a mere role and title connected to road navigations. So connected to basically just be a kind of sort of traffic, poorly said, a traffic helper and organizer. This is so much more. It's literally mastering the art of movement. So from a psychological perspective, the name road captain invoke a sense of a mind that sees ahead the entire path. It's risk, it's already tuned with all these possibilities, both of positive and negative potential. And I would say that for someone that gets to earn the role of road captain, probably that person has also extremely good ability to immediately read a person, like a whole book, from the first page to the last one in very short time, due to their role and the energies connected to their patch, which it's extremely mercurial, I will say, if we look at it from the planetary magic perspective. So the perspective where we attune ourselves with the energy of the planets in order to boost whatever act of magic, devotional, psychological, emotional healing, and so on we are doing. And we can compare the road captain to the figure for those in the occult culture to a mystical kind of guide. It can be a spirit, it can be a person that makes sure that whomever they are guiding moves smoothly and without risk into the unknown towards knowledge. And we can also become road captain for spirits too, if we arrive to earn that patch, earn that state with spirits. So definitely, yes, you got that right. It's gonna be a video, you call it Road Captain and Road Captain for Spirits, as seemingly everybody loved the previous two videos, Prospect and Prospects for Spirits, Hang Around and Hang Around for Spirits, that right now are blowing up. Second patch that we get into, he is the Sergeant at Arms. So he is both the protector and the enforcer inside of the club. It's a path that represents the first step of maintaining the club's order, using both psychological and physical power to ensure that loyalty is kept in place, discipline is kept in place, and from an occult perspective, this is an extremely Mars energy, because he is the guardian of the sanctum. He is the guardian of the bylaws, the morals, the values. He is the one that has to make sure that all the rules, bylaws are applied and are always kept in mind by members and not. And at the same time, in a contest of moving, he is literally the person that is in charge of the safety of the whole club, be it in a contest or normal club, or be it in a more widespread, worldwide spread looking context. So where we seen that before, Rocap had that mercurial, so that traveling memory connected type of energy. Here we have more the energy of the warrior, that really energy of actions, morals, ethics, values, grounded down into the raw potential. And I think it's actually one of the most interesting ones. And then the next one that we see, it's actually a more Saturnal one, so more from work of formations, work of severity, and more grounded towards duties and disciplines, which is the treasurer. So the treasurer, it says by itself, it's definitely a person that not only holds the financial aspects of clubs, but also holds the potential of the soul of the club's sustainability. So he is in charge to make sure that trust is in place, in this case towards him, and also checking that all the incomes, all the ingoing, outgoing flow of money, and to make sure that the club has everything that it's needed in order to be operating and to be active and to be able to keep going on without problems. So a role that normally could just be seen as merely be good with numbers and all about numbers and mathematics becomes way much more, because in there the economical aspect becomes a flow of energy and resources, transforming this patch holder into the alchemist, if we look at from the occult perspective. So the person that is in charge to take the wealth and turn it into entering into a way higher the spiritual and existential way of being. So I love also the fact how again we have that concept of alchemy that we see in the foundation work. So taking the goals in order to transform them for a more higher and spiritual sense, rather than just ended up into a mere mundane and material aspect. And then we have the secretary. So secretary, I see it has a mercurial, but at the same time also Marsish and Saturnial way to be. Why it is so? Because like it says the name, and this is a very difficult role to explain. When my partner was training me, he tried his best to explain it, and he says it is so huge that it won't even take just one day to explain it, but I'm gonna try to dive into it as best as I can. So he is, we can say, the historian of the club. He holds an intimate connections to the collective's memory, and he is the person that has 100% responsibility, and also to make sure that whatever it is discussed in meetings, decided, and the rules settled down, they get to everybody else, and they are applied as they have been voted, decided, and established. So we can look at this person as a kind of scribas. Here, why there was the mercurial one. So he holds the power of recording all the influences, the histories, and making sure that the official narrative of the club is always kept up to date. It's always keeping ongoing. So it has, as if we look at it from the cherub's perspective, the potential of the high priestess. So an eternal flow of knowledge that never rests, never ends, and is always on moving, and is always on transforming and evolving for the greater good of the collectivity. And then we have the vice president. So the vice president, it's a role that has both moon and sun energy together. So intuition, more higher power connected, I will say, not in the terms of pyramids, because there is no pyramid. Everybody gets to work from perspective and around. And basically he is the guy that is loyal to the club, but ready whenever it is required to step into the shoes of the president. So in the absence of the president, he is the upper one. He is the one in charge. And it's a role that, of course, it comes with the psychological requires of having ambitions, and definitely this is a person that wants to keep it in a healthy way, in the best interest of the club. A little bit like a consigliere will do in the mob culture, but let's remember that MC culture and mob culture, they are not one and the same. They might have similarities, but they are not one and the same. They are two different things, even if you can learn from each other and actually evolve for a greater good. So it's a position of preparation, of intermediary. So from a psychological way of talking, we can see that just saying vice president invokes an essence of always ready to go, of high skill talking person that could beautifully talk with people during conflicts, during problematics, during situations, meetings. So extremely high level speech ability and charisma, if you love a video game as much as I do. And so I see it as in the occult be a correspondent of the magus in training. So that person that it's in training by spirits or inside a coven, inside an order, hoping one day to become the high priestess or the high priest. So it's like, let's say, the clerical phase, going up towards the highest role, which is the president. So the president, from an occult perspective, it is the pinnacle of power. It is like the sovereignty over both internal and external order in the club. He is the high priest, so the one that channels the collective will of the whole club. So a very sun and type of energy from, again, the planetary perspective of rulers, leadership, of wealth, of power, of authority. At the same time, a personality that is extremely strong, extremely well-grounded. And as I said, there is a lot of information. We are gonna have specific videos about this. Don't you worry. So now that we have seen this, it comes a questions probably, which is, names and patches can be the correspondent of a ritual of powers? Yes. So we have seen that names are invocations, and titles too are a sort of invocation, but they are more of a catalyst, energetical catalyst. So in a ritual power, be it just in the sense of occult perspective, if somebody decided to practice, as I do, combining these two cultures together, it can be seen as taking the names, which are the invocation tools, let's say like that. Names are invocation tools, and combining them with titles, so with a sigil, with a kind of grounding talisman and energy, and so creating a manifestation of structured authority during an operation. And if somebody it is in the MC culture, so just for that, look at your name and you look at your title if you are having one. And actually, not every club requires these people to actually wear the patch. It really depends from the club, for what I was talking. And by combining the names and sigils, we create also names and patches. We are creating a multi-layered identity. So we are giving even more intimacy, more power, having more access into tapping the energy, into tasting them, into getting to feel them, to understand them. And this is because, literally, like we said, names can invoke and also evoke, depending. Invoke, it's to call in; evoke, it's to call out. So essences, and in here patches displays also allegiance and rules. So this is very interesting, and it was fantastic when actually Griselda Blanco, let me take my girl down before we are going back to do our Christmas. She suggested to see about rules, about wearing patches. I don't know if you can see her. Probably some of you that have been on the channel for longer and they know that there is a marvelous video where I'm talking about how Santa Muerte bring her to me. And it was so interesting making also researches and see actually all this parallelism and this potential, when I made 30 years of life thinking that patches were just patches, roles were just roles, and titles were just something that it has to be Erden. So before to let you go, guys, I hope you loved the video. Let me know in the comments what do you think. Check the community session because new polls are coming out and new posts also too. And the 28th of December at 12 CST time zone, PM, 12 PM, sorry, we are gonna go live on Imperial Ghost. I'm so happy guys, to have you here. Have a marvelous Christmas. I'm gonna see you next time.